Okay, people, welcome back to another episode and thank you very much for joining me. I hope everybody is doing well today. In today's video, guys, we are going to discuss, I'm going to help you to identify if you, the user, or someone you love may actually be addicted to using a substance, okay? Maybe someone you love or yourself, you're going through this whole addiction cycle, this whole addiction process, and you're wondering, you're thinking, am I actually addicted though? How do I know 100% for sure? What's the signs? What's the symptoms? Well, in this video, people, I'm going to give you 4 ways to help you to identify this, okay? This could save you time, this could save you energy, but ultimately, this could save some lives, okay? So make sure you stick around to the end. There's going to be lots of great information throughout this entire video. As ever, people, all of my knowledge, all of my wisdom is based on my own real life experience. I was a drug addict for just over 21 years. The last few years of my addiction were really, really extreme. I'm now full-time sober. I'm in a blessed and privileged position to be able to give back, to share my knowledge, share my wisdom, and ultimately help people to move forward in their lives and conquer their addictions, okay? So lots of great information, lots to get into. Let's begin this video, people. Vamos. Guys, just a quick update before we continue with this video. I will be offering life coaching in about 4 to 6 weeks time. Just finalising the last little bit of legal side and I will be live. Recently passed my level 3 in addiction counselling, got my life coaching certificate, and I've kind of merged the two together. So yeah, very excited to get this started. I know there's been a lot of people messaging me, keen to work with me, so just hang in there a little bit longer. I will make a full-on video when I will be live in this in about 4 weeks time. How do I do that? Long story short, people, I will be offering full-on education on addiction. I've got like 25 different presentational slides, all topics centered around addiction. They're going to be interactive. You're going to be doing worksheets. You're going to be doing life work in between the sessions. So you're going to be constantly interacting with me and engaging with me. So it's like a 12-week program. This will be done with education, lifestyle implementation, goal setting, habit trackers, the whole 9 yards, okay? Got so many things to offer. Cannot wait to get started. If anyone's interested, my email will be below, offthemarkcoaching@hotmail.com. Should you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to ask at all, drop me an email and yeah, look forward to working with you. Going to be taking on about 10 to 15 people at the max. It's a very heavy workload. But yeah, it's what I live and breathe, it's what I enjoy, and I'm excited to work with people. So if anyone's got any questions, just drop me an email and we can chat there. Okay then guys, let's continue with this video. 4 points which are going to help you to identify if you or someone you love is addicted, okay? Point number 1, you do not have to be using the substance every single day to be addicted. Let me say that again. You do not have to be using the substance every single day to be addicted. Let me explain. Let's take the drug cocaine, guys. That was my drug of choice. That is many people's drug of choice. It is the most popular Class A drug, certainly in the UK and many other countries. And this is something that people will be experiencing today. So let me give you a quick example of my point on this. Let's just say you're at the start of your drug taking journey, okay? Your cocaine taking journey. You've started at say 18 years old, you've been doing it for however long, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, okay? But let's just say you're at a point now where it's like, yeah, the drug is starting to cause me some problems, it's costing me a lot of money, it's making me unreliable, I'm not turning up for work, it's causing problems in my relationship, I've had enough of this, I'm stopping, that was the last time. Let's just say you've had a big blowout on the weekend, that was the last time, never doing it again. You tell yourself that, you tell your family that, you tell the whole world that. What happens then is Monday comes, it's day 1 of sobriety. You go back to the gym, you go back to work, you're eating healthy, you're sleeping well, and you continue this. Let's just say you continue this for about 4 weeks. You're starting to feel good, you're starting to feel better. But 4 weeks come, you end up relapsing, okay? You go on a massive bender, Friday and Saturday night, no sleep, Sunday night comes back round. Fucking hell, why did I mess up? Did it again. Hate the stuff. Causing me problems. I spent £500. I feel like shit. I've messed up all that gym work. I haven't eaten for 2 days, etc., etc. Never doing it again. You tell yourself, you tell the world, you tell Facebook. That's the end of it. Never touching that stuff again. Monday comes. Back to work, back to the gym, eating healthy, sleeping well, starting to recover. But 4 weeks comes back round. You relapse again. The same thing happens. Fuck's sake, why do I keep doing it? I've spent X amount of money. I feel like shit. I've undone the gym work. And guys, if you are in that cycle and that continues year after year, because believe me, this can go on for many years, guys, this is addiction. The fact of the matter here is you are unable to maintain your sobriety. You are unable to keep your word. You're telling everybody XYZ that you're stopping and you cannot do it. Guys, this is addiction. People need to understand that. The fact that you are not using the drug every day doesn't mean you're not addicted, by far. You are unable to maintain that sobriety and years have passed. Guys, this is where you have crossed the line. Okay, you are addicted. It is a fact. Okay, so that is the first point I want to mention, people. You do not have to be using the drug every single day to be addicted. I hope that helps. Okay, guys, so the second point I want to make on that first point, if you are somebody in that cycle and you've been using, as I described, 5, 10, 15 years non-stop, every weekend, and you claim that you're still not addicted, yet you haven't tried to go sober or you haven't had any stint of sobriety, why not test yourself? Make yourself a goal. Say, I'm going to go 90 days totally sober. No alcohol, no weed, no nothing. And see how far you get. This, guys, is a very good marker to see if you are addicted. Believe it or not, this will be where most people discover if they have an addiction problem. Now, some people will be able to go the 90 days like that. No problem, no urges, no cravings. Whilst other people will not be able to go 2 weeks. Okay, this is where you will discover if you have an addiction problem. And it's kind of luck of the draw. I'll give you a quick example. I have friends to this day who used for the exact same duration as me, 20 plus years, and they were able to stop like this. No treatment, no urges, no cravings, nothing. Now, they may not have abused it as hard as me when we were using, but they have used it continuously and non-stop for nearly 20 years, and they stopped just like that. Whilst myself, I had to go through quite an ordeal just to get sober. So it's kind of luck of the draw. But this is where you are going to discover if you are addicted. A couple of key points I want to mention on this from my own judgment and experience. I personally believe that people are fearful of actually trying to go sober. People are like, what am I going to do with my time? Who am I going to hang around with? I heard it the other day. My friend told me, this guy I met, he's like, all my friends use, what am I going to do? There's almost that fear factor. The thing is, guys, if you want to change, if that drug is causing you problems, don't just keep doing it because your friends are doing it. This is going to do you far more harm than good, okay? So that's just a quick thing to say on that. Another interesting point, which leads me back onto the 90 days. Recently been chatting to a lady from my YouTube channel who's been messaging me. And she's going through this whole cycle. She's much older than me, but she started in her teens. And she said to me, this resonated to me massively. She said, I am desperate to know who I really am. And that was a really interesting point because I used to think exactly the same. If you've been using since a teen and you're into your 40s, guys, you don't even know who you are. When you are using continuously, you are just a distorted version of yourself. So maybe when you attempt those 90 days, you may change and you may like who you are becoming. You may like the feeling of being sober and think, I didn't want to go back to that stuff. The damage it's doing to me. So yeah, I encourage people, try to start this recovery journey. Now, obviously, if you just do not want to do that, then don't do it. But I think it's a great way to see where you're at, okay? So I do challenge people to do that. See where you're at, see how far you get. And if you're one of the lucky ones, people, and you're able to stop like that, then you've walked away scot-free. Do it before it's too late. Okay, guys, so the second point, let's continue with this video. Urges and cravings, people. If you are somebody suffering and experiencing urges and cravings to use drugs, even though you know, the real you, knows that the drug is causing you massive amounts of harm, guys, this is obviously and clearly a sign of addiction, okay? Let me explain the urges and cravings to people who are perhaps new to my channel. Now, let me tell you something, guys. If you are addicted, the addicted part of your brain is a master of getting what it wants. It doesn't care about you, it doesn't care about the consequences, and it will tell you that this time is worth it. This experience, the feeling it will give you will be as good as the first, or certainly as good as the beginning of your journey of using. It will manipulate you, and it will find any reason and justify any reason to get what it wants, okay? This is addiction. Let me give you a quick example of the urges and cravings experience from my own real life, okay? So the urges and cravings thing is a really interesting one. An example from my own experience, guys. I had a job where I would finish on a Friday at 12 o'clock, and also it would be payday. So those two things alone are not a good combination for somebody who's trying to change, especially in the early stages of sobriety, and especially when you have no knowledge on how urges and cravings work, okay? So what would happen to me is, guys, Friday will come around. Let's just say I wake up Friday morning and I have no intention of using whatsoever. I wake up, it's right, it's Friday, it's the weekend, feeling good, going to go to the gym. Most days I'm going to train, going to study, whatever, okay? No intentions of using whatsoever. But you are addicted, let's bear this in mind. 11 a.m. comes round. What happens is, a thought emerges. A mild one. The thought is this. You start to get excited because you're finishing work. The thought comes up. Yeah, I could use, I've got a few £100 available. I could potentially use. I could start early and get it done. But the real you goes, nah, fuck that. We ain't using. We don't want to use. Let's go to the gym. Let's finish work. Go to the gym. Let's have a nice weekend. Let's chill. No problem. Done. Urge over. 1 p.m. comes up. The thought's back. Only this time, she's a little bit stronger. Yeah, I could use, I could probably get a deal as well. I've got a few £100 available. I've got no one to answer to, nobody's at home. If I started now, I could be done by 10, which means I could go to the gym tomorrow. So what's happening is starting to talk you into it. It's growing and growing, okay? Only the real you shuts it down. No, don't want to do that. That stuff's horrendous. It ruins my life. It's going to mean if I do it, I know it's going to go on and on. Okay, nah, sod that. We're going to the gym. No chance, not using. All good. You may even go to the gym. This is what I used to do. I go to the gym. I train, come back, feel good from the training, eat some healthy food. It's 6 p.m. Only this time, she's alive and thriving, and she's stronger than ever. Well, if I'm going to use, it needs to be soon. It's 6 p.m. You know what I mean? Time's ticking. It's now or never. If I don't use now, it's not going to be until next week or another time. This was the classic one we used to tell each other, to my friends as well. Let's just text him. Let's text him and see if he's got anything. We'll go from there. We don't definitely want it, but let's just text him. What the fuck? End up texting him. Yeah, 20 minutes on my way. But sometimes the urge or the craving would even subside, but the dealer's on his way. It's too late. It's game over. You end up taking the line. The next thing you know, it's Monday morning. You've been awake for 2 days. You're watching Good Morning Britain at 8 a.m. What the fuck just happened? It is that easy. And if you're not aware of these urges and cravings, then you are probably just responding to them. So some of you may be in that situation where you're waking up with no intention of using, yet before you know it, you're on it, and a day or two has passed. You go, what has happened? Like Friday morning, I didn't want anything, and then I'm on it. Well, if you're not aware of your own brain and what's going on, you are probably just reacting to those thought processes because they're very strong. Okay, and that is what can happen. So next time, if you're in that situation, try to halt. Take a step back. Hang on a minute. Why do I want that stuff? That stuff is ruining my life. I'm trying to change. Now, one thing they teach you in treatment is to role play the movie in your head. Right, I'm the lead character. If I react to that thought and I choose to use, I roll with it, what will happen? I will use, it's going to go on for probably 2 or 3 days. I'm going to spend maybe £1,000. There's a chance I won't turn up for work Monday. I'm going to undo all the gym work I've just done. I'm going to annoy a lot of people because I'm going to be silent. Okay, do you want the lead role in that movie? No, you don't. It's a disaster role, okay? It's got failure written all over it. So try to understand what is happening. Once you get a concept of what's going in your brain, it's going to help you change, okay? That's the second point, people. Hope that helps. Okay, guys, so the third point to this video, okay, and this is for people who are concerned for others, they're maybe looking for changes or seeing changes in someone, and they're trying to identify, what am I really looking for? How do I know for sure? Believe it or not, guys, unless you are experienced in this drug world, it's actually quite hard to see and understand, definitely understand what that person is going through, and you never really truly go into understand. I'll give you a quick example. Now, my mum, for me, she did not grow up with drugs at all, nothing whatsoever, nor did my dad. And my mum had no idea of the level I was on, no idea whatsoever. She knew there was signs, she knew there was involvement, but to understand my addiction, she had no idea. It was only when I fully opened up and explained it to her, then she understood. And then every time I used after, she could identify it just like that. She knew straight away the behavioural changes, the way I was acting, my sleep patterns, everything. So unless you have experience in this, it's actually quite hard to identify. But anyway, I'm going to give you some of the top behavioural changes, and of course we're going to focus on the negative. So this may help some people who are concerned for others. So I'll just run through a quick list with you guys. Start from the top. Sleeping patterns. If someone's using constantly, guys, their sleep patterns are all over the place. Sometimes for me, guys, I would not sleep for many days, or you would be up all night, which means you sleep all day. So totally irregular sleep patterns. That person, of course, is going to be always tired. Being a drug user is quite demanding, guys. It's actually quite draining. So they're going to be tired all the time. Also, this will mean they will be moody, quite moody, up and down all the time when you're using your high, your low, the whole 9 yards. Of course, this comes with depression, feeling low, looking like shit, looking bad, irritable. People get really irritable, especially after a session. They're probably disappointed with themselves, what they've done, feeling so low. Food is a big one, guys. No appetite whatsoever. When I was using, I never ate a thing. Some people manage to eat on cocaine. I have no idea how. I could not eat a thing, and I would go sometimes nearly as long as a week. Sometimes when I was doing it in secret, people would make me food, and I would just pretend to eat, and I would just find a way of getting it in the bin as quick as possible. I had one guy I met in a meeting once, and he said his wife made him food and he couldn't eat it, and he ended up putting the pork chop in his pocket. It's like covered in gravy, which was hilarious. So yeah, really crazy stuff. You won't eat, very poor appetite, which means you're going to get really skinny as well. So yeah, weight is a big one as well. People look really thin, and you can just generally see it in people's face. I looked about 50 when I was using, literally. I got some pictures, it's next level. Disappearing, guys. This is a classic one. If somebody is living a normal lifestyle, guys, you generally don't disappear for long periods of time. Now, if you have a son or daughter, say you're living with your parents and your parents are concerned, so this is for parents, say, and they're disappearing and they don't have a partner from, say, Friday till Tuesday, then there's probably a chance there's drugs involved. When they're on the drugs, they're not going to want to come home because obviously they look wired. And obviously when it all wears off, they're going to be sleeping for a day or two. What normal person really disappears for many days? You don't. So if someone's disappearing for long periods of time, there is a chance there could be substances involved. Cognitive issues, guys, big one. This was me all over, Cognitive issues, you're going to get confused. You don't make much sense. And you can notice this in people who use. They get their words mixed up, their sentences aren't making any sense. And just generally you can see they're a little bit confused in the way they present themselves. So this is quite common. Nasal issues. Now this was a big one and a running joke for me and many of my friends. Now my nose is obviously pretty battered. It's recovered, I'd say, pretty much okay now. Of course it's always running. But when I was using, guys, my nose was the worst out of everybody's. I used to actually drink the nasal sprays, the Vicks sprays. So basically when I was using, after say the first night, my nose would be blocked to hell. So I'd have to go to the shop wired, buy the nasal spray and just drink through my nose. And I would generally do a bottle in a night just to keep it going, which means I can take more drugs, sniff more coke. And it would be quite crazy because you would be drinking it. Sometimes I'll be covered in blood, but yet you still continue to do it, guys. And that's how severe addiction is. You're forcing it up. Your nose is saying no more, yet you find ways to continue. And it is pretty crazy. But yeah, nasals is the big one. Most people say they have hay fever like year round, which makes me laugh. So yeah, nasal issues, so always sniffing, etc. is a big telltale sign. Of course, all the normal side effects, guys: lying, unreliable. You're going to see changes in the person. They may start scheming, may start stealing. All these types of things do come with drug use. But let me be totally clear and transparent with people. This is absolutely not for everyone. I know some very nice people who use drugs. Some people are taking drugs to mask pain. And I know some really genuine people, and they've just sidetracked off in life, but it doesn't make them bad people. So yeah, they're just some common side effects for people to look out for should you be concerned. And yeah, I hope that helps people. So that is number 3, which is behavioural and physical changes. Okay guys, so the 4th and final point to this video, and this is a serious one. Guys, number 4 is isolation. Now this is going to help both the users and maybe if you're concerned about someone who is maybe isolating. This is more for severe addicts, I would say, and some people may never get to this isolation stage. But I'm quickly learning, people, from my channel that this isolation thing is actually quite common amongst drug users, okay? And let me explain the isolation thing to you. If you are somebody who is isolating, and I mean by locking yourself away in your bedroom, in your house, curtains drawn, there's no communication from you, your phone's on airplane mode, you're not eating, you're not talking to anyone, it's just you and the drug, and you are getting really twisted alone for many, many days, not even sleeping. Guys, if you are in that situation, this is where you need to get some help, okay? What is the next stage after isolation? I think after isolation, it could be a fatal one. And what happens during that isolation session you're on, if something goes wrong, if you have a heart attack, if you start spasming out, it's unlikely you're going to be able to get help. Okay, so this could be a fatal one. So I think it's really, really serious, okay? Now let me explain the isolation thing to other people. If you are in that isolation stage, you need to look at it from the addictive part of your brain's point of view. Having you in isolation is the best possible scenario for the addiction. It has you backed into a corner, hands tied behind your back, in full control. It has got you into a position where you are alone, you're isolated, you will not be disturbed, you have no accountability, nobody's coming to get you. It is the ultimate scenario for the addictive part of your brain's point of view. Okay, so if you are in that scenario, guys, this is where you need to firstly accept it and acknowledge it and say, yeah, this is serious, it's got me. Hold your hand up and accept that, yes, I need to get some help, okay? So many people who are experiencing this, I hope that may wake you up a little bit. You need to accept that situation. This is where I was, guys, and this is one of the things. This was at the tail end of my addiction, and that is one of the points where I actually realised and thought, fuck, this is serious. This has got me so, so bad. I am literally alone in my room for 5-6 days spending thousands of pounds to just sit there alone and get twisted. It is absolutely crazy, but this is how powerful this stuff is. There was times for me, guys, where I didn't even need to leave the house. Best scenario for the dealer. They will just put stuff through the letterbox. You don't even have to go out. You can just continue to keep using. It is a horrendous situation to be in. So if anybody is in that situation, first of all, don't panic. You can absolutely still turn it around. Accept it, acknowledge it, hold your hand up. I need to get some help. The addiction has got me. And that's about it, people. Those 4 things are all from my own real life experience. I hope that helps anybody or everybody who needs it. If anybody has any further questions for me, lots of great videos coming soon, guys. Big plans ahead for me. As I said, the coaching's about to start. Got lots of addiction videos planned. Hoping to move soon. And yeah, life is going good, guys. As I just explained, I was in that scenario, in that isolation stage. I managed to turn my life around. Now, pretty goddamn happy. living a good life, teaching people, about to start my own business, in great shape, saving money, traveling. So you can absolutely turn it around. So let that be a lesson to all of you. But anyway, guys, that's enough for me. I need to go and decompress because that was a pretty heavy one. But anyway, guys, stay safe, stay sober, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.